I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Dennis Kudla.
I'm Jesper de Jong.
I'm Henry Laaksen.
I am Francisco Cerundolo,
and
you are listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Hey, welcome back, tennis fans. Something new, something different on the channel. Thought we'd try and throw some crazy stories your way because there's been so many weird things happening in the tennis world since, obviously, the retirement of Roger Federer, the retirement of Serena Williams. But there's still lots of controversy going and on the court. We had it in the Laver Cup. We've had it on different courts across the world. I thought we'd start off, JG, with this whole thing with Stefanos Tsitsipas and the apparent bullying of Tsitsipas by the American team, because obviously Tommy Paul, he was heard talking about trying to get under his skin by talking about his dad. And then I've heard that Francis Tiafoe was throwing around some yogurt topics as well, just to try and get under his skin. What do you make of all of this?
I mean, it's not the first. You've got Nick Kyrgios as well being accused of bullying Tsitsipas. We was there at Wimbledon with all of that as well.
Yeah.
Andy Murray was another one accused of bullying Tsitsipas after the whole toilet break gate.
Yeah.
Since that incident, they have become more friends now. I'm hearing that they connected on Instagram, which is the best basis of whether or not you're a friend nowadays. So Andy Murray, Tsitsipas seems to have settled their beef, which is great to hear. I'm not sure if it's the same for other players on tour, and I don't know what it is about Steph, but he's just not that popular with other players and seems to have a lot of issues with most of them. Of course, we know with Daniel Medvedev, not popular at all. I mean, them two don't really see eye to eye. Maybe got better recently, but still not big fans. I think Tommy Paul was also alluding to the fact that I'm going to make a joke about your dad.
Yeah.
To try and get in his head as well.
I know. And I'm going to bring up the tweet anyway. We've got a few tweets just to take us through these little bits and pieces. And this one saying this isn't trash talk. It's just flat out bullying. Tennis fans fuming over Tommy Paul and Team World's spiteful words towards Tsitsipas at the Laver Cup. Yeah, and it was... I don't know. It's a little bit of a running joke on the tennis tour, isn't it? Like Tsitsipas and his dad and all that type of thing. Does that mean it's okay to use his dad against him on a court and that type of thing? Because even though it's a joke that's sort of running around the tennis world, it still might be something that is personal to Stefanos, and he probably doesn't find it a joke himself. He's living it day in, day out with like all of the stuff that's happening with his dad and all of the controversies that could come around having his dad as one of the people in his box all the time. And they're sort of playing into that narrative and making it seem like it's all right to just poke fun at this and try and get under his skin for it. I don't know if it's a very gray area, because it's sort of, we're coming into the realm of, is this acceptable? Because it's common knowledge. Is it acceptable? Is that it? Because everyone finds it funny that his dad's always like in the shot on the phone, or there's all these other silly things that happen. Does that? I think
it's gone a little bit far. I think it's gone a little bit far. I feel a little bit sorry for Steph at times. I've never liked it in life where it's very clear that he gets triggered by it. And people just seem to abuse it and continuously target him. It's like kicking a dog when it's down a little bit. I'd rather them to dish out whether it's banter or just trash talk or a tactic to get in his head and win matches. Yeah. That's fine. I'd rather that dished out more evenly along the tour and not just everything directed at Tsitsipas. Don't think it's necessarily fair. Tsitsipas did challenge. I think he's handling it okay though on the whole. And he did. I don't know if you saw this. I think it's a video he put on social media. I think it was for the tennis channel. I don't know if you've seen it.
No,
and he was basically offering out Kyrgios, saying how I want to have a rematch with you.
revenge match or something, wasn't
a
that right?
revenge match with Nick Kyrgios, and Kyrgios replied saying, "Done. Let's get this revenge match going. When and where and how much?" So, listen, I don't think it's too. That whole thing seems to be a bit of a joke as well. I know it didn't seem like one at Wimbledon.
No.
But yeah, this story, I think Team World, I feel, were a little bit too much on him. And it seems to be the story of not just the Laver Cup, but the whole year. There's a lot of players who direct any of their anger or annoyance towards him, which I think it should be a bit more split out evenly.
Yeah, probably right. I mean, I was just going down this earlier just to have a look because there was a few other people saying article mentions of the daddy joke comments by Tommy Paul, but not the Greek yogurt shouting by Tiafoe, and which is also completely disrespectful and completely inappropriate. And apparently it's well, and I'm just reading this through. This is xenophobic behavior and should never be allowed in any sport, which I wasn't even aware of personally. But people seem to look a bit deeper in all of these things. Obviously, we've had instances where Tsitsipas, he was sort of saying like some horrible stuff to Medvedev on the court back, I don't know, many years ago, and then that was causing problems there when he was playing Medvedev.
The thing is, he does dish it out himself, so exactly. You have to expect to get it back. But still, I feel like he's an easy target at times, and people have been going a little bit much on him. But let's move on to the next one.
Definitely. So, yeah, poor old Tsitsipas in the news for the wrong reasons, let's say. Next up, this one a little bit more comical, but it did annoy some people as well, which is Sasha Bublik. He's in a final of an ATP event against Lorenzo Sonego, a beatable opponent, I would say. But then he found himself a set down, a breakdown, and then break point down. And then he goes and does this. I mean, not sure what you're doing, and then goes and loses the point. I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what do you make of this? Pulling out this shot, is that just a sign of a defeated guy who just doesn't care, doesn't even see a way back into a match, or do you just think it's all good bants? It's just Bublik.
It's a bit ridiculous, to be fair, in a final, and he's got a bit of an issue when it comes to finals. He's played 7 of them, lost 6, won only 1. Not got a good record when he gets this far. I feel a bit sorry for everyone who paid tickets to watch it.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks it wasn't a complete giving up, and he was just trying to something really flash. I know he was laughing afterwards, which isn't the best of looks. But I don't know. I don't really enjoy it. I'd rather see that in an exhibition once you retire. That's fair enough. We go to the hall we went to that time, the Champions Tour.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Yeah, just in the Royal Albert Hall.
The Royal Albert Hall. You can go there and watch something like that. That's fine. But on an actual ATP event, particularly a final, it's just not really a place for it. And he got embarrassed, rightfully so, because he lost in straight sets. When on paper could have been a favourite against Sonego.
But then there's this other side. You've got to look at the other side, because if he pulled it off, then is he just this genius tennis player?
Because it's all about winning the point, isn't it? And he could have won the point by just smacking it down.
Well, yeah, it was. That's
or
why
a delicate shot. It was an easy one to win the point from. So, yeah, it's a bit silly. I mean, we got SXM in the chat saying thought it was quite funny. Edimator saying he did the same in Miami. I've not seen him do it before.
No, same.
Fair enough. I didn't know he did it in Miami.
Mastered it.
SXM saying he lost his head early in the second set when he got broken.
Yeah.
I mean, it didn't work, so it was ridiculous. Shouldn't have done it.
I've seen this thing from him in other matches, though. He just has he has that thing which I don't like on the tennis court, is just the element where you see the player just completely give up. He
downs tools, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like he just thinks, oh well, I've lost this then, so what's the point? And then we've seen him do it against I think it was against Medvedev when in the French, I think.
Yeah,
he just completely just went like, yeah, I've just hit everything out, or I hit it in the net. Who cares? Like, I'm going to lose anyway. Terrible attitude for a professional sports like person. If you get to that level of the game, so many other people would be chomping at the bit for an opportunity to play at these tournaments, and you're just going like, oh well, I'm not even going to fight to the end. I'll play next week. and that's the sort of mentality, sort of the modern age has. That's I think we've even had conversations about this recently, that this doesn't seem the fight in a lot of people, in relationships, in like sport, in life. Like people just think like, oh, there's always, I can just do something else tomorrow. I don't need to fight for this today.
No, I agree. I think it's a generational problem at the moment, where particularly the younger generation, sort of myself included, there's a stage where don't probably fight through things as much, and there's the attitude of like, if it's not handed easily, then what's the point? And I think we're seeing it here.
Yeah, most definitely. All right. This one we'll move on to is Basilashvili. I thought this was quite interesting. I was flicking through Twitter, and I wasn't even aware of this, but he got defeated by Fernando Verdasco, and Basilashvili is won one out of his last 9 matches, and the only win was he was a set down to Zizou Bergs and still won through default because the retirement from Bergs. And he hasn't won a set in any of the matches either. So I tried to pull up since Wimbledon. As you can see here, he lost in straight sets. Since then, he lost to Gaston. He's been bageled by Karatsev. He got bagel breadstick by McDonald. He's been breadstick by Montero. He got bageled by Wu. He won his match against, but he still didn't win a set. And then he still lost another one to Rinderknecht there. And now this one to Verdasco. And this is sort of going back to 2020. He had 11 defeats in a row in 2020. Then it was followed by a few wins and then another 7 defeats in a row. He's at it again. I'm not sure what's wrong with Basilashvili.
Well, he's been accused of match fixing, him and Karatsev. And this can't bode well towards that story when he's just so unreliable. I mean, he's done this same thing, like you said, in 2020. I think following that, he won a Masters, didn't he? Or something ridiculous.
He won 2 tournaments, didn't he? I remember
he won a Masters, beating Norrie in the final, or one of them. Or did he lose to Doha?
I think he won in Doha.
He won, I think that was the event which Federer come back. First time we saw Federer come back. He beat Roger Federer and then won the event. And no one was expecting it because he was in terrible form. But when he turns up, I mean, he was playing great tennis. He's a bit like an Ostapenko, really, in terms of Ostapenko gets it together. She wins stuff. Same with him.
Yeah.
Same with Muguruza as well on the women's, but she's not doing that too well. Yeah, he won Hamburg.
Yeah.
No, Norrie beat him in the final. Fair enough. But he got all the way to the final of a Masters, which is crazy.
That was in Indian Wells, I believe.
Now you'd expect him to lose to everyone. Whoever he's put it up against in the next match, say 300 in the world, probably loses it. He's just having that time at the moment. And is it something? Is he losing on purpose? Is it match fixing? I don't know.
Well, I know that there's a big
the jury's out.
Well, I don't know. Is it they're under a microscope at the moment, are Basilashvili and Karatsev as well, because Karatsev just lost to somebody who I believe has only played about 10 matches on the tour or something. I don't know. It was a very odd loss, his last loss, Karatsev. So people are looking even more like into his results as well. So that really makes me sad as well, because we obviously had him on the podcast. He had that storming run at the Australian Open.
I just hope that's the pod.
It's massive. I don't want him to be involved in those type of things. Right, moving on to slightly more violent things now. In the next one, I'm sure people have probably seen this. This was Corentin Moutet, and it was Andreev from Bulgaria. They were playing in France in a challenger event, and this is what happened at the end. I mean, they go for the handshake, and then clash here. Moutet pushing Andreev, and then the racket again smacks against Moutet's arm. And and then apparently it started to kick off after this as well, after the match. I mean, I'll pause this now, and then we'll go to the it got physical, as we can see it in Orleans, and we've got ugly from Jose Morgado, and this is apparently what was said. And I've had, luckily, Dylan, who's now joining us in the live chat there, who has nicely translated the whole thing that Moutet put out. But he put out this on Instagram, I believe, and I did have a look through and thought, there's no way I'm going to be able to translate all of this, but we can, thanks to Dylan, now know everything that it says. So he says, I will not apologize for what happened at the end of the match. When a player allows himself to say, excuse the language, fuck you twice whilst looking at me in the eyes, I couldn't help make him understand in my way that it's not something you can do. You applauded that player at the end of the match. Maybe for you it was something acceptable. For me, no. Anyways, he threatened me and asked me to find him outside the court. I did just that. Had a hard job finding him for 10 minutes. Indeed, he was hiding behind 6 security guards. I heard your threats very well. When you'll stop hiding, I'll be glad to make you understand. So I wait impatiently. We can speak calmly. And then the clown emoji has at the end.
Yeah, safe to say they're not friends.
Yeah.
Moutet has a bit of a history of these kind of things, but in a way, I don't know if it's fully his fault.
No,
he's not the person you like. It doesn't take a lot. It would never take a lot, but to swear in his face, it was just, I mean, that was always going to end badly for Andreev, wasn't it?
I mean, so after such a close match as well. I mean, they went to 2 tie breaks in the second and third, and Andreev won both of those. So you can tell that there was probably, I don't know, he was probably already rubbed the wrong way from getting the bad end of 2 tie breaks, and then for him to say that to him right at the end, I'm not surprised. But Moutet finds himself in these situations. We've seen him get himself defaulted before. We've seen himself like get a point.
We've never seen this from Andreev, which makes me think maybe Moutet did something. He's got a reputation before to lead to it, and we don't know because we wasn't there. No. Only them two truly know what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Andreev, that was the final of the Challenger today.
An amazing matchup, really, for a final of a Challenger, and it was the main thing that he was saying there is it was in France. And he was disgusted. They were clapping the other guy, Andreev.
Or was it not the final? Sorry, I'm just reading here because it doesn't make sense for a final to be on Friday. But I think it just said Friday. I don't think it is a final, but it can't be, can it?
Let me just have a quick look.
I'm looking on Google. Everything's saying final, so it can't be right.
Really?
I mean, usually the final Sunday, isn't it? So
yeah, but I don't think it was. I don't think it was just happened. I think that there was like where was it? No, it was 20. Hang on. Yeah, no, it wasn't the final at all. Yeah, it was like the second or third round, I believe.
Yeah,
or quarterfinal. So no matter what round it is, I don't want to be right.
Because they're going into the quarterfinals. Andreev's playing Gombos tomorrow. You've got Hugo Gaston, Jack Sock as well, also in this event. Ooh. So, yeah, imagine the trophy ceremony if it was the final. It wasn't. No, it's just the second round. I mean, it's not going to be the final yet.
It's a pretty good challenger.
It's a good challenger. Yeah, really good players in there. Andreev, it's a big result for him. Let's see if he can go on. I think he's going to struggle against Gombos, but I don't know. I fancy him from the top half to advance. Maybe Sock being the favourite on paper or Gasquet. But, yeah, in terms of the whole outcome of this fight, it's not a good look, really, for tennis. But then I think people expect it from Moutet.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen him like be physical like so much on the court though.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that. In fact, I was talking about it with my friend the other day because he was asking me, does anything like that ever happen? Because in football, you always see incidents after a bad challenge and they square up to each other.
Yeah.
A lot of sports, you'd see it, but it doesn't happen in tennis ever. And all of a sudden it happens the week after. So I feel like when you talk about things, you can just sort of bring it to the world.
Did you saying that you caused this to happen?
Probably did because I was talking about it.
He made it happen. We've got into Moutet's head. Maybe he's just listening to me more aggressive rap songs that he's creating, and he's got that in his mind. He's got a rapper mentality now. He's going out there just on the court to fight. Just wants to.
Maybe and the other thing, I'm not sure why Andreev even had to do anything. He didn't have to say anything because he just won. Do you know what I mean? If you've just won, why do you need to rub it in?
like you said before, we don't know what
did Moutet do before?
It might have been every changeover, might have been just something little like
there must have been
comments or something like that, and he just probably wound him up to the point that when he won, he was a bad winner and just said those horrible words to him. Yeah. And now, and Andreev's probably going to have to face the wrath of a diss track from Moutet, probably.
It's going to be TJ and the Joey Barton of tennis is Moutet.
The Joey Barton. Well, Joey Barton, I don't know. He's
got the French accent, Moutet, already. So.
That's because Joey Barton had the worst French accent I've ever heard, but a bit of a character in the game of football, wasn't
he? Yeah.
Right. Well, last but not least, I was going to save this for a news video, but I thought we may as well just tackle it on this one because the news is sort of getting a bit old now. So, Camila Giorgi. I'm not sure, Gary. I know that he said he couldn't make it this week. We'll send our wishes to anybody who is living in America for obviously the hurricane and stuff that's going on over there. Wish everybody.
Just quickly on that, it's terrible in Florida.
Yeah,
I was watching a video earlier, and there's a shark just swimming around the streets, and they've got like alligators and stuff because everything's been flooded.
So many alligators there.
No, but there's like some 10-foot alligator just swimming through, like with all the ruined like boats and houses. Yeah, so thoughts of anyone in Florida. I forget the exact place now. It's just left my memory. I was looking at it earlier.
Hurricane Ian, I believe this one's called. Is that right?
That's not hit yet.
Oh, that hasn't hit yet.
That's the one that's not hit.
That's the one Gary sort of messaged me about, saying that he was expecting that one.
Hurricane Ian's not there right now, but I think when it does, it's going to be terrible. I mean, they've had winds of 150 mile an hour the other day, and 156 mile an hour winds.
Word.
It's the worst. Yeah, Hurricane Ian's the worst storm we've seen since we moved to Florida. I mean, it's the worst you're going to get. I don't know if it started or not, but stay safe if anyone's out in Florida at the moment.
Yeah, we got Kathy.
Some of the images I've seen is terrible.
Saying Ian, it's past. And Marcel saying
past, is it?
It was Ian.
Oh, that was Ian.
Okay, and apparently Edin Mater saying the Charleston Challenger has been cancelled this week as well.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, well, trying to play in those conditions, that's not going to go well, is it? Well, we've got Amy and cheers for the super chat saying I like this format. Tennis TMZ. Maybe that is the new GTL. Well, we're interested to know if people want things like this, just like a weekly little mini pod where we just cover funny, weird things on the tennis tour, then let us know in the comment section. And always remember to whack likes on the videos so it gets found by everybody. And if you are new, obviously subscribe as well.
Yeah, I've just sent. It's in Fort Myers, Florida. I've just sent you a video.
Okay, let me see if I can.
I know this is not about tennis, guys, but I feel like it's big news.
It's massive news.
It's affecting the tennis.
I mean, it's affecting a lot of people. People we know as well. Like obviously, who
the tennis at the end of the day, when you see things like this, always doesn't really matter. I feel sorry for people there's been people who have lost their life. I'm sure lost their homes, and
right,
the world's a bit of a dark place at the moment. The UK's struggling as well. I don't know if you've seen. Oh, he's got it all up.
I know. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing, do I? Oh, there we go.
There you go. There's one of the sharks.
That's a bit nuts, that.
And there's one of a video I sent you as well of it actually one of them moving, swimming around.
Let me just get
there you go. You can see it.
There we go.
It's literally a shark swimming around.
What the hell?
And there's like alligators and all sorts. So
I mean, I've heard about the alligators, but sharks, that's just another level of danger.
Yeah.
I mean, well, no one's going out there, I'm sure, if they can help it. But oh my word, I didn't even realize that was going on. Like sharks out.
I mean, would sharks really attack you? I think that's for another podcast. Like, I don't think they're that malicious as people make out. But that's just my take on it. We can do that another time.
I'm not taking any risks.
No, I just don't think they are. Like,
well, you can swim with them then. I'll let
sharks don't just voluntarily attack humans.
They
usually most shark attacks are by a mistake.
Or you've got a cut on you or something like that.
Because they don't realise it's a human.
If they sense the blood, they can smell it from like a mile away.
So, I think they're quite friendly sharks anyway. That's my opinion.
You can pet them.
I would like a pet shark.
Yeah, last one I was going to say was for Gary anyway, but big shout out to Gary if you're not joining us. But sorry to bring you the news, obviously. Camila Giorgi's new boyfriend, and I would say boyfriend as well, because he is about 20 years old. I mean, obviously, Camila Giorgi, she's gone for a bit of a toy boy in this one. I believe she's 30 or just over 30 now, Camila Giorgi, and going for a bit of something younger here from the Argentinians. And it's saying Camila Giorgi coming to Buenos Aires to watch the 20-something boyfriend at a challenger is so iconic to me. And what's that? She's going around the world to watch her new guy. What do you make of it all, JG?
Oh, man. I don't know what to say. Yeah, fair play. Camila Giorgi is what it is. It's up to her, isn't it? If she wants to date. I thought it was quite surprising, the news. I think he's quite a good-looking guy. She's not bad-looking herself. There's a bit of a gap in age, but then who am I to judge? I think if you like someone, you like someone. Age is just a number, but to a level. Let me clarify it. That as long as it's legal, well legal, then it's fine. I'm not a wrong one. But
no, definitely not.
If there is different ages and there's gaps, fair play. I can understand why she's attracted to him, but clearly she's not that focused. I don't feel like this is my opinion. People won't agree probably. But it shows to me that she's not that focused on her tennis at all. Her head's in a different place. She's not going to be someone who's going to win big tennis events.
Oh, Gary's not going to be happy with you, JG.
No, she's not going to win anything. I can tell what type of person, where her head's at with things.
Is this another Raducanu? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, I'm not bringing up Raducanu at all.
She's even gone further down the pecking order. She's not even allowed to be mentioned. Right. Maybe we'll bring her up.
We got Sporting saying, I'm sure Gal Falkenberg will bag herself a toy boy soon.
Well, hopefully.
Maybe Gal should head down to the challengers, see if she can pick up.
Maybe, or maybe ITFs. I don't know. Maybe the challenger's a bit too high still in the stakes. But
I would say you've been entering a few LTAs, but
I was going to say she might be able to bag herself a JG if she goes to some ITFs. I don't know.
I'm playing in the grade 6s at the moment, guys, in the LTA.
It's a tough level, trust me. It's big. It's big.
Currently 12-0.
Currently 12-0. JG undefeated at the professional level at the moment. Will that O ever go? We're hoping not, and we're going to continue following JG's journey into professional tennis, probably eventually. Is that right?
Well, into the challengers. I might be able to get with Camila Giorgi.
You never know, mate. Stranger things have happened at sea, or in Florida at the moment. Like you see, sharks are swimming in the streets.
Gosh.
You might meet Gal Falkenberg at a challenger. There you go. Well, I think we'll wrap this one up anyway. It was just a quick little bit of fun just to add to the channel because there's not much going on at the moment. We've got a few events. We've got Djokovic in Tel Aviv. We'll try and bring you some more actual tennis coverage and stuff over the next few days. But we'll try and bring you another one of these next week. We'll save up a week's worth of fun and then try and hit you with it again.
Yep, exactly that. I just want to end on a hot take.
Ooh.
And this is something I've just come up.
JG's hot takes.
I've come up with it right now. And that is that Shapovalov is going to win in Seoul. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.